how did you go from what we would say typically is a technical role into, and I want to find out your thoughts around how technical marketing is. But all right, so been doing tech, and there may be people out there in the audience that are watching this saying, hey, I've kind of been doing tech for a little while. I'd like to maybe try into marketing because I have some ideas or I
Yeah.
like the creative. So
Yeah.
how did you switch? Like what's that gap where it's like, you know what, I'm going to go in this direction towards marketing?
Yeah. So I would say like a couple of things. One is I had that technical background and I could be creative. So one of the things that we did as this V specialist within EMC is we didn't have a marketing organization. And it was like, hey, you would get slides from VMware and you'd get trained on VMware stuff and then you get trained on EMC stuff, but you wouldn't have kind of like that story that would kind of come together technically. There wasn't, again, a specific group that would focus on it as a larger part. So I ended up putting, and most of us within the V specialists ended up putting our own PowerPoints together. But what we also did, and Chad did an amazing job when he hired all of us into his tribe, was basically using people that could be social. At that
Right.
time, again, early Twitter, I remember getting my first Twitter account. I was not even a V specialist yet. I was trying to be hired into it. And Twitter had just started because I remember I was going through like different names. And they're like, you should get a Twitter account. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. You should get a blog. I don't know what you're talking about. And I still like little, it's so funny now that we're walking down memory lane. Like remember the conversations where you were when you had them when you're like, you should do that. And how little things like that have just helped in the career. I don't know if they help as much now. I'll be honest. I know you and I talk about this all the time about like whether certifications are really worth it, right? And whether what are the important things now of what people are looking for. And obviously people are different, but I think that no matter what, if you're have some sort of like ability to have a conversation with people, you don't even have to have confidence because most people fake their confidence. And we know that for a fact, right? Fake
Yeah.
it till you can make it, I guess is the phrase, right? But I think the idea is trying different things and just going out there and just you have to be willing to kind of take that risk. So I didn't always I don't have a 5-year plan. I'm pretty sure you probably have a 5-year plan because you're so good like that, but I don't have one
I
of those.
tried three. I've been doing 3 years at a time just
Really?
because I still have to have that kind of, I don't want to say instant gratification, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
hard. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it's hard or at least for me to conceptualize where it's like, man, sometimes you look at it and it's like if you're going to run a marathon but maybe you want to just break it into like 5 miles at a time, right?
Yeah.
It's the
But I
same
think that's
thing.
marathon training is the worst. But what I think is really interesting and what I think I found out a lot now being, in this pandemic and being home and some things that have happened in both of our lives this year is kind of like what I realize is it's not always been about this job or a title or whatever, but the idea of like, what kind of life do you want to have in 3 years? So
Right.
in in 3 years,